Okay, so taking this question up from the homework, page 12. James add vitamin drops to his fish tank to keep his fish healthy. If James follows the instruction on the bottle of vitamin, how many capfuls should he add to his 350 liters fish tank? Show your work. So on the instruction, it says 2 drops for every 5 liters of water, and 1 capful equals 40 drops. Okay, so using proportion, can somebody set this up for me? Sophia, did you do the question? Okay, can you explain your steps for me, please?
Like all of it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So first, it says 2 drops per 5 liters of water.
Okay.
So then I changed that to 40 drops per 100 liters of water.
40 drops to, okay, so then you did the setup, so 40 drops.
Over 100 liters.
Okay, so let's solve it first. Let's call it X because we want to know how many liters is equivalent to the 40 drops. Again, notice how we set it up. Drops over liters, drops over liter. So cross multiply and divide. So 2 times X equals 200. So when you divide it by 2, X equals 100 liter. Okay? And then next?
And then because 40 drops is the same as 1 capful, that means 1 capful equals 100 liters.
Okay, yep.
So 1 capful over 100 liters equals X over 350 liters.
1 cap over 100 liter equal, we'll call it Y this time. Okay, over 350 liters. Okay, where are we getting these numbers from? Because we know that it's a 350 liter tank. So that's why we're trying to set up the cap over liter, caps over liter. Okay, cross multiply. Let me just zoom this out a little. Okay, cross multiply. So 100y equal 1 times 350 is 350. So when you divide it by 100, y equals 3.5. Final answer?
3.5 capfuls.
Caps, right, capfuls. Okay, I don't need a therefore statement, but I do need the unit. Okay, so in this question right here, as I said, this is a past EQAO question. You see how they set up the ratio twice in this question. So because it wasn't the straightforward with the units. Okay, so here you had to go from, you know the ratio between drops and liters, and so you have to set it up also, drops per liters. I know I'm trying to look for caps, but I don't have that set up right away. So I have to do compare apple to apple, okay? And then after that, then I can go to caps per liter, caps per liter. Okay, how many of you got 3.5 caps? Okay, good. All right. So if you see this question on EQAO, you think you can do it? Okay. Yeah.
So like on the EQAO, what if we like did it differently, but we still got the right?
That's fine. Yeah. And the difference with the EQAO nowadays is it's on the computer. And so likely you'll see a question like this in the multiple choice or in the drag and drop for one of the steps and so forth. So like a possible EQAO question, like this was a past EQAO question where you actually had to show all your steps, but the new EQAO, it might be a multiple choice question, or it might be like a drag and drop what goes in this box right here, for example. Okay. Okay, one last one I wanted to take up was page 11, this one right here, the plane, number 9. A plane flying from Halifax to Sudbury traveled at a speed of 750 750 or 760? We'll say, what do you guys think? What does this say? 760 or 750? 50? Okay, 750 per kilometer per hour for 2.5 hours. Find the distance. So how many of you are in in science right now? Science last semester. Okay, so those who were in science last semester, do you guys remember this triangle? Distance? What goes in it? Right, okay, DST. So distance equals speed times time. I find this triangle very helpful. I still use it today. So like for example, if I want to find distance, it's speed times time. If I want to find speed, it's distance divided by time. If I want to find time, it's distance divided by speed. All right. So here, I want to find distance. So the formula is speed times time. Right? So 750 kilometers per hour is my speed. 2.5 is the time. So when you multiply it, you get, Margaret, what did you get? You didn't do that one. You can do that now. 750 times 2.5. 1875. Full marks? Oh. You're looking for the distance. Kilometers, right. Okay, kilometers per hour would be your speed. Okay, so I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Okay, I don't need therefore statements, but I need the units, because when you're able to tell me the unit, it tells me you actually understand what you were looking for. Okay, so that was the homework. If there were any other questions from the homework you want me to take up, yeah, you can ask me during class later on. We're gonna move on to coding. Okay, so we're just doing an introduction of some of the most common coding commands. Okay, so the purpose of a code is you want it to give you an output. You want it to do the calculation for you so that you don't have to do it. Okay, and that's called the output. We have something called a loop. Okay, so a loop is where you're telling the program to keep repeating itself. Okay, repeat doing this until when? Until a conditional statement is met. Okay, so the conditional statements is if this happened, then do this. Otherwise, do that. Okay, so if else statements are called conditional statements. Okay, let's go over an example right here. So the code right here, it's setting number 1 equals 17, number 2 equals 23. Notice these numbers, number 1 and number 2 right here, these are bolded. All right, these are your variables. So with any code, the first thing that you want to do in any coding program is set up your variables, basically. So you know how in the last question we did we used X and Y? Since it's a program that we type up, we just, instead of calling it X and Y, we call it number 1 and number 2. Okay? And then you can see here our conditional statement. If number 1 is greater than number 2, then say that it's bigger. Else, that means, otherwise, it means number 2 is bigger. Okay? In this case, you can clearly see that number 2 is bigger, so it's gonna skip this part and go to here for your program and say number 2 is a bigger number than number 1. Okay? Because these are variables, just like how x and y gets replaced. So the output that you get in this case, the output that you get is going to be, instead of number 2, it's going to say 23 is bigger than 21. Okay. So your variables get replaced with the actual number. Okay. So here's another example. Determine which number is bigger from any 2 different numbers given. So let's see. Sander, give me a random number.
52.
52. What is the first number? 52. Okay, so 52 is stored as number 1. Okay, Brian, give me a second number. 8. Okay, so 8 is stored as number 2. Which part is it going to go through? Is it going to go through 1 or go through 2? Right here. Which part of the program will it go through? Okay, Sophia?
1.
1. Yeah, because 52 is greater than 8. So it's going to go through this right here. And then the output is going to say 52 is bigger than 8. Okay. Seems very easy, and that's all it is with today's lesson. It's the introduction to the coding stuff. Okay. The example 2 right here. The next part is the loop that we were talking about. Okay. So this one, I'm trying to figure out the average point at a volleyball game. Okay. So first off, the program, you're going to set it up to ask how many volleyball games were played this season. Okay. So Max, how many volleyball games did you play this season? How many games? Give me a random number between 0 to 10. 10, so many. Lower number. Huh? 9. Okay. All right. So 9 games. So 9 is going to be stored in the variable total games. Okay. The good thing with EQAO being online is they will bold all the variables, so it's easy to tell. Okay, set total score equals 0. Okay, so they're defining a variable and assigning it a value. And then you see here the repeat. Okay, so it's gonna keep asking you, what is the score? So Max, what is that first game? Have anybody play volleyball here? Okay, Sander, well, how much point is the set?
I think it's 20 something, 21.
21? Yep, it is 21. Good, you do play volleyball. Okay, so let's say you won the first game, and the first game score was 21. Okay, what happens in here? Okay, can anybody tell me what's happening in here? So what was the score? 21. And then what does this mean right here? Yep, Margaret?
0. 0 plus 1.
Yeah, 0 plus 21, because total score was 0. So 0 plus 21. And so it goes to your, and then it stores the new score to be total score. Okay. So what was the purpose in setting this to 0? This is a EQAO question. All right, so they'll say, what is the purpose of this line right here? Yep. Starting value, right? Because you have a formula right here. So if it doesn't know what the starting value is, this formula doesn't make sense. Okay, good. And then it's gonna move on to the next game. How many times is this question gonna repeat for? Max, how many times is this question gonna repeat for? It wants to calculate the average. So how many times will you have to go through this loop? 9 times. Why 9 times? Yeah, because you said so, because you chose 9 games. Yeah, so it's going to repeat every time. So let's say the second game, you lost horribly and you only got 8 points. And then next one, everybody got hurt, so only 1 point. Okay, so then it keeps adding until the 9th game. And then it's going to have that sum, that total score, divided by 9, and then it will tell you the average score. Okay. So last one right here. Why did I put this coding into chapter 2? Because unit rate right here. All right. So basically, this program tells you what to do when you don't have a calculator. Yes, your calculator can do this, and you know how to do this, but yeah, you have to code it. So again, setting up your variable. All right. So setting up the variable. Variables. Right. Okay, so total cost is a variable, and you're going to say it's 1860. And then setting up the second variable, which is 12 chocolate bars. And then you're going to tell the program what to do. So, and then here, you know that the unit cost, the unit cost is total cost divided by the total units, just like what we did the last 2 days with unit price. And then the output. So, the actual programming. And then lastly, last part is the output. Okay. So in this case, it's going to put out the unit cost is, and then it will do the calculation for you and write it out as the price. Should I include a dollar sign in my output? Okay, so this is a tricky part. If you want, so let me actually do the calculation. 1860 divided by 12 is $1.55. So the output is going to say the unit cost is 155. Okay, and this is all that it's going to say. I know it's not proper format because there's no dollar sign, but that's because your program didn't include a dollar sign. Okay, so I'm not trying to be picky, but that's how it goes. Like you tell your program to just do the math. You didn't say anything about formatting, units, and all that. So if you do want that dollar sign, you have to add it in here. Okay. Okay, so that's all with today's introduction lesson to coding. So just try these ones right here. On page 17. So page 16 has question 1, and then page 17 right here. So try these ones. Answers are right beside it because I know the coding is a little new to you. If you actually like type in exactly these coding into Python, it's not gonna run. Okay, I just want you guys to have the idea, know how to read, how to follow along the code. Okay, and that's the expectation on EQAO. All right, so just do page 17 right now. You have a whole lot of time. You have like 40 minutes to try these questions.